Hello, everyone, and welcome to Guwahati MuleSoft Virtual Meetup. The topic we are presenting today is connect your existing MuleSoft APIs with Agentforce agents. And our speaker is Jay Prakash, known as JP. So, before we start, some safe harbor statements. JP, next, please. Both the speaker and the host are organizing this meetup in individual capacity only. We are not representing our companies here. This presentation is strictly for learning purpose. Organizer or presenter do not hold any responsibility that same solution will work for your business requirement. And this presentation is not meant for any promotional activities. Some housekeeping. So as we are recording the session, we will be uploading this in the meetup page within 24 hours. Okay. I will also provide you the link where you can get it. If you have any questions, just feel free to put it on chat or unmute as you all have mic access. We'll try to make it more interactive, but I will request like let's the speaker first deliver the theory and show some of the demo. Maybe when he explained it, the questions what you have in your mind may already clarified it. But if you think something which is not explained, then you can definitely ask the question or put it on chat. Once the meetup is done, you will get a feedback form. So I will request you to fill up the form so that it will help us to improve anything you require or any topic you want in future. You can let us know, and we can work on that. Okay. Now coming to me, I'm the organizer of this Guwahati chapter. So my name is Abhishek. I'm working as a technical architect in Uniflash. I'm a MuleSoft ambassador, regional leader for MuleSoft Meetup India. I'm a speaker for MuleSoft, Salesforce, Slack, and CMX meetups. Uh, I run meetup for Guwahati and Lucknow MuleSoft group, Slack Guwahati channel, and CMX Guwahati chapter director. I have total 10 plus years of experience and 8 plus in MuleSoft. Certified developer architect from MuleSoft. I hold some other certifications in Salesforce, Solis, Talbumi, JCP, Copado, Vocato. I write technical blogs, and I'm a 4-star ranger rank in Salesforce, and I create technical videos, and I own a patent for developing a portable washing machine. So that's about me. Now over to you, Jackie.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, Abhishek. Hi team, hello everyone. Thanks for joining the Guwahati meetup, and Abhishek, thanks for the chance to present that event.
Thank you for
Myself,
coming, JP.
yeah,
Thank you for coming.
thanks a lot. Yeah. So yeah, myself Jay Prakash. I work as a principal consultant with Everge, is now an Alithya company. I have a total 11 plus years of experience with 9 plus years in MuleSoft, and I'm a certified developer and architect. I work in Salesforce, MuleSoft, and Oracle Integration Cloud, which is OIC. Yeah, and I predominantly into enterprise integration actually. So yeah, that's a brief about me, and feel free to allow to connect with you all. So I have shared my LinkedIn QR for you in case if we need to connect and we can discuss. Yeah. So yeah, coming to a topic today, like we have gone through, recent ones on with the API catalog and ACB and all. With that, we received few queries in the previous meetups where we did that API catalog part from ACB, like how to connect the existing APIs with the Salesforce agents and use it in the agent actions, right? When it comes with ACB, basically we will be creating it directly, assigning it with the topic during the design itself, and it will be imported to Salesforce. So now when we have an existing API which is already running in MuleSoft, how we can use it in the actions for agent. That's what we are going to cover today. So meanwhile, like while I was explaining the slide, right? If you guys, we will be having a demo at the end, basically. So if anyone is interested and are having any existing uh, um, any kind platform and Agentforce demo or with you, you can try with us always. Feel free to do that. Okay, you can keep your environments ready. We can do it during the demo together if at all required from you. Okay. Yeah. So coming to that, we will be going to see what is the overview, what we are going to do with that, and how to configure the API for a Salesforce catalog, and how to connect our Salesforce org and AnyPoint platform. One after post the connection, how we are gonna sync and activate the APIs in Salesforce, Once the APIs are activated in Salesforce with the necessary permission, we'll be creating the agent action using the API. That is what we are going to do now, and we'll have a demo of the same. Okay. Now, coming to the overview of Agentforce's MuleSoft, like basically our main objective is to connect the MuleSoft APIs with the Salesforce, not via typical HTTP or anything which we are going to code from a third party environment, right? We can sync the organization, and we can always connect the APIs using API catalog, and we can use that API to create Agentforce actions which can be used by any agents by assigning it to a topic. Okay, so that's what we are going to do today. So I have just break down the steps what we are going to perform now. First, configuring the API for Salesforce catalog. So we'll be having an existing API in our Anypoint platform, right? In that, in order to make that API visible to Salesforce once the organization are synced, we need to tag it as sf-api catalog in the exchange. All these we will be doing in the demo. Before starting with the demo, right, I'm just explaining you these things so that you are aware of it. Okay. Once that is done, that is a part, then we need to make sure our API has activated in the API manager by auto discovery. As you know, like, we can always deploy it to the API manager and use the auto discovery ID in our package during the deployment. Once it is deployed, that will become active in our API manager. Okay. And we need to basically configure the endpoint. Once it is deployed to the runtime manager, we will have our public endpoint, right? We need to provide that endpoint as a consumer and upstream URL in our API manager, so that that will be visible for the Salesforce once it is synced. Okay. And there are, yeah, some tips. Basically, this is actually a main one, where schema with data types will make it easy for the agent to parse the contracts, right? So whenever we need to use it as an agent action, what will happen is, let's say you are having a get call or post call, whatever. The request and response should not have a generic schema. It's better if we have a proper schema with the uh, each and every parameter and the structure defined. Why, where it will be helpful is like, uh, with this arc sync up and action creation for agent force, it is very basic need that um, Apex class has to be created so that Salesforce can parse the response which is being sent as a JSON. So that will be helpful if we define the schema properly with the proper parameters and all, like basically how we will create a bean class in Java, right? So that's what in Apex the class will be created based on the schema which we have defined, basically the data types and each and every parameters in the JSON structure, right? So that will be a basic one. So that will be, if we do that, it will be very easy for the parsing part. We no need to do that. Salesforce intern it will handle everything. So this is something like we will enable Salesforce to do it very easily, and it will be easy for us to establish the communication also between Salesforce and Mule APIs, right? Yeah. And I have some reference link which I have pasted here. I can give it to you at the end. I will paste it in the chat. Okay. And yeah, so that is regarding the API set at the Anypoint platform. Now coming to the next step will be connecting our Salesforce and Anypoint platform. Or how we can do is like, basically we need to have admin rights in both the environments, Salesforce org also and Anypoint platform also. And we need to establish a trusted relationship between the platform, which can be done very easily with the Salesforce out of the box provision, which is available both at the MuleSoft and Salesforce part, right? Anypoint platform and Salesforce org part. And once the connection is established with the proper tenant key and everything is synced up, the MuleSoft APIs from the exchange will be automatically synced to the API catalog, provided not all the APIs, which are all the APIs you have tagged as SF API catalog. So that in this way you can restrict, let's say you have 10 15 APIs under your runtime manager or the API manager for your business group, right? All those will not be exposed. Basically, only the APIs that are tagged and allowed to be visible for the Salesforce will be available in the Salesforce API catalog. Okay. And yeah, once those APIs are available in Salesforce, the next step will be like we can activate those APIs. Basically, activating means what it will happen: all the destination URL which we have configured, and the client credentials and custom external services named credentials creation, all those will happen in the Salesforce side. So that is what the activating action means, which means uh, basically that API will be made available for the invocation from Salesforce part. Okay, that's what we are gonna have in this sync and activate APIs. Okay, and along with that, we'll be having permission set changes in Salesforce, which means like whichever the agent to be created, it will be created by a specific user, correct? So that user needs to have permission to access these APIs. So all these steps we will be covering in this sync and activate APIs part. Okay. Then yeah, outcome is, yeah, so basically what will be the outcome: the create connection process creates the required object in Salesforce automatically, including external credentials, named credentials, and external services and invocable actions and permission sets. Okay, so that is the part which will happen as part of activating the APIs. Once the APIs are activated, that will be readily available in Salesforce to create an agent action, which in turn used by any of the agents that are created in within the Salesforce. Okay, so yeah, so this is the basic outcome. Now, if you guys are ready, then we can go for a demo. Okay, yeah, let me stop sharing once. So, any of you want some time in order to get your environments ready? If in case you want to try with us together, maybe I'll wait for 2 minutes before starting the demo.
Yeah, anyone have any questions? I think you can ask till now. Else, definitely we will start the demo then.
Yeah.
The questions all good? Cool. I guess you can start, GP.
Okay. I'll do then. Okay. So first, let me go to the AnyPoint platform, right? Where my first step will be, as I mentioned, like first we need to make sure our API should be available for the Salesforce API, right? Salesforce catalog. Let's say I have created one API here, which is an inventory API. I'm clicking it. So here, whichever the API which I want to, expose to Salesforce via the API catalog part, I need to add a tag, which will be sf hyphen API hyphen catalog. Okay, I need to add a tag hyphen API catalog. Yeah, I have added it. Now the tag is added. So now I'm going back to my API manager, where will be my second step, right? Me before that, let me show you my runtime manager. Yeah. So if you see here, I have my API running already, and I have my URL, which is basically ready for me to configure since it is running. Now, when I go to my API manager, as I mentioned in the slide, right? Like you can view it like in the slide, so that it will be easy for you. So if I see here, I could see this particular API is active, right? It's an active state because this particular API instance ID is used in the deployment, so that it's active, right? And we have tag already, it's there in the exchange, so we don't need to add specifically anything here. Now I'm editing that instance in order to update my customer endpoint and the upstream URL. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Okay, the instance was updated successfully. Now I'm going to my in order to, now the next step will be syncing my Salesforce and Anypoint environments. Okay, I'm logging into my Salesforce instance. So here, how we can do this? That you will have a gear icon, which is a setup part. Hope you are aware that in the setup, we should go to the, before that, if in case if any one of you are using or opening that environment for the first time, I would suggest you to enable Einstein. You just type, you will have something called Agentforce Einstein setup. In case you haven't enabled it, just turn on Einstein. Okay, that's required, so that Agentforce will be enabled within the dev work. Okay, so this is the place where you need to switch it on. You just type on Einstein, and in the Einstein setup you can turn it on. Okay, now let me go type any point platform. Yeah, so in the Salesforce setup you can visit this Anypoint platform part. Here you can, you will be having, I just I had an earlier connection with the different Anypoint one, I cancelled it, so that's why I have this complete the connection setup. Most of you, if you are starting for the first time, you will have something called establish a connection or connect to one Salesforce org option. You can click here, and this is our Salesforce org tenant key, which I should copy it. Now I'm going back to my Anypoint platform. In the Anypoint platform, I should go for something like access management, where we have where we will be having Salesforce. Okay, that will be just below the external access and above the composer sync. Okay, I'm clicking on Salesforce. I'm gonna give add a Salesforce. You'll be having an option called add Salesforce org for the Salesforce. I'm clicking on this. It is asking for Salesforce org tenant key. This is nothing but what we have copied from here. Salesforce org tenant key. I'm pasting that, and I'm adding it. So it is giving me the org endpoint and all, and it is asking name used in any pine platform. I'm just giving something called MuleSoft Meetup as a name used. I'm adding it. Now that connection is established from the Anypoint perspective, we need to give the handshake from Salesforce to Anypoint platform. Now for that, we need to copy this Anypoint platform org key from here. Copied. Now go here, and we need to paste it here in the Salesforce cell. Okay, now I'm clicking on connect. So the MuleSoft connection with Alithya was created. Alithya is nothing but the business group which I have created in my Anypoint platform. Okay, so yeah, Anypoint org admin is Meetup Guwahati, and this is the email ID which is using that. So here I am just give enabling the permissions, enable Einstein Agentforce in Anypoint platform, and This is the setups we need to do. There are a couple of more setups which is mentioned as mentioned here. This needs to be managed in any point platform. Now I'm closing this. Yeah, if you see here, Salesforce org is added, which was created as MuleSoft Meetup. Now I need to enable these settings, okay, so that this is like you do not allow the Salesforce org to import APIs. It is disabled. I'm enabling it so that that API will be whatever the API in the exchanges that can be accessed and imported to the Salesforce org. Okay, this is where we are giving the permission and allow Salesforce access pre-built apps. This is also I'm enabling. Yeah, and there is one more thing called you cannot publish invocable actions to this Salesforce org. This is not enabled in Salesforce. Like if we go here now, this should be available for us. Let me refresh it. So which we can enable it. Turn on any kind platform. Managed in Salesforce. Publishing actions to the Salesforce. 1 second.
This might be related to RP or IDP or something.
I doubt actually. So invocable actions to this Salesforce are not enabled in Salesforce. It should be available. 1 sec. This is publishes. Okay, RPA maybe RP and IDP. Okay, this requires
Yeah,
specific separate licensing. I think I guess.
that should be something separate.
But this is related to that, Abhishek. I don't think so.
No,
Not
just
that
just go
service.
to your catalog and see. You should be able to see that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's okay. So this now what we have done is like guys, we have synced up the established a connection, and we did all the handshakes and all the proper connectivity is established between our Anypine platform and Salesforce R. Okay. So yeah, I'm closing it now. Setup. Let me check on the API catalog part. So we have done the prerequisite of connecting the Salesforce and Anypine platform, and also we have tagged the particular API with the SF-API catalog part, which allows Salesforce to read it from the exchange, which we have connected now. Now I'm going to the API catalog one. So there is one API which is already available. 1 sec. Let me start sync. It will take some time. These are all existing APIs actually, which was from a different org basically.
Yeah, it takes some time for the new one to reflect.
Yeah. 2 to 3 minutes it will take actually. And also there is one more thing which I need to highlight here. You can connect multiple Salesforce org to a same Anypine platform, but only one Anypine platform you can connect to one Salesforce org. Okay, which means from Anypoint to Salesforce is one to many, but Salesforce to Anypoint is one to one. Okay. Yeah. So if you see here, this inventory hyphen API is inactive. This is nothing but what we have created in our Anypoint platform, and which we have enabled just now. So the main prerequisite what we have done is adding the tag as SF-API catalog in our exchange, and the second part is in the API manager. We have made sure this is API status is active by deploying it in runtime and updating the implementation and consumer endpoint. So these are all the prerequisite basically. Since this is done and our connection is established successfully, we got our API loaded here. Okay, and it is in inactive status now. We can activate it by clicking on activate actions. So this is telling us like description it is asking for. This API is used to check real-time inventory. Okay, and if you see it's ready to use, and this is nothing but our API auto discovery ID. Okay, it ends with 3305. If you see, this is the API instance ID in the API manager in Anypine platform. Okay, so I'm selecting this and I'm creating and continuing it. The next step is manage user assignments, where we'll be giving permission, what kind of permission we need to provide, and to which users we need to assign this, right? Basically, we need to provide for the user who is going to, create any agent or use this API in order to create some Salesforce action, invocable actions to those users we need to assign. Okay, I'm clicking on manage user assignments. Here, it is opening my permission set parts. So there are a couple of permissions which we need to provide. One is on the object settings, where we need to do something called credentials. Should be the one sec. Let me find it out. Yeah, user external credentials. This is nothing but I'm providing access to read the external credential that is getting created. So otherwise it will not be able to read the client ID and secret and to pass it with the connectivity. Okay, saving this. Now going to the permission set overview, and let me go to system permissions. Here I'll just enable the API part, because we are going to use the API, access any Salesforce.com API. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Save. Yeah. Now I'm clicking on this manage assignments. This is where we can add our user. So since this is my default user, I have it already loaded for this particular user. So if you want to add any new user, you can click on this add assignment part. You can select any user. Let's say, for example, I'll just give you some show you some example of clicking on next. Here also you can configure this, expire on, and then you can click on assign so that it will be assigned for that particular user. So I just cancel this since I have this user already added. Okay, now I no need to do anything in particular, it's already active. So I'll just click on next. Now in my inventory API package, right, I have two endpoints. One is select and one is post. In here also you can segregate your access, like even though you expose the SF API catalog, if I want to provide only get, right, I can click on this method and I will click on done. So if you see here, the setup was complete and connection created, actions activated. Okay, so I'm just closing this. If you see here, the inventory API have one action established. Okay, so this is the part. So here, what happened is the client, if we can verify that in the Anypine platform also. So what are all the steps done for this particular inventory API? Let me refresh here and I'll show you. Basically, since you have enabled that particular endpoint in API catalog in Salesforce, it will automatically create the client application, register a client applications on that name, and it will provide access to this particular API in the Anypine platform. So this is the API. I'm just clicking on contracts. If you see here, automatically an app got created. We didn't create this, it got created from Salesforce just now, like 4 minutes ago, when it got synced and when we started the manage assignment action, right? This was created and the status is approved. You this is basically a manual action, right? Whenever someone needs access, we will be creating the client ID and we will be providing access for them. So these are all which is taken care by the Salesforce and Anypoint sync up, which we just did. Okay, so now we can go to the API catalog. Now this particular API is already, action is enabled. It is ready for use. Okay, connection status is active and this is activated. Okay, so now let's click on agents. Now the next step will be creating an agent action, basically, right? Which we can, basically use it to invoke the API from an agent. Now let us have a look at the Agentforce agents. So let me enable the default agent instead of creating a new one so that it will be easy for you. Yeah, so we have a default Agentforce agent. I'm clicking on that agent. I'm having a look at open in builder. Okay. So if you see here for this agent, we have a topic. This is created and all, right? So what we can do is we can edit or remove this topic, or we can delete the topic also. Let me click on the topic details. I'll do one thing. I'll delete this topic so that I'll make sure I'll do from first so that you are also. So what I'll do, I'll just click on the agent for asserts. I'll just click on the topics.
Check in actions. Go to actions and see once.
No, I'll delete this.
This is the
Nothing.
old one, right? This will not get deleted, I think.
No, we can. I think this is the same instance I used earlier. So that's okay. I'll delete this action also. Right. Okay. So what I'll do, this is my agent, which is like your default agent might be having one or two topics. You can leave it as it is, or you can remove those topics. Okay. So this is my agent now. What I'm going to do, I'm just creating. I need a new topic. Okay. Before that, let me refresh it once so that whatever we have deleted will go from the cache. I'm just gonna create a new topic. It's like either you can do it manually or you can just provide some gist of the one which you need to create in the topic, so that Salesforce will help us here. So let's check the real entity entity of a product where soft API using SQS input. Okay, so it's providing its own name. We can rename it, or we can update whatever you need. Like you can put as inventory check or whatever. Okay, so I'm just clicking on next. There is no specific action yet. We can create that action always. So there is no action associated with this, right? This topic action, there is no action available since we haven't added any. Now I'm clicking on create new action. Okay, so when we create an agent action for Salesforce, we have these predefined options, either using Apex class or API or flow or prompt template. Now we need to access MuleSoft API for our functionality. So I'm clicking on API. Under API, we have external services, Heroku and MuleSoft. I'm going to click on MuleSoft. Once I have done this, I have, okay, get check inventory itself. Two is there. One sec. I need to know which one. Okay. See, since my old API is also enabled, it is showing two. Let me go there and identify which one I have to use now. Okay, so this is old. What I'll do, okay. So now I made sure I have only one. So let me reload this. Now in my topic, I need to add one agent action the same way. Create new via API, and I'm gonna select MuleSoft. We have get check inventory. I'm just copying this particular action API name. The reason for that is I need to tell my agent to use this action API name so that it can easily reference this API. Okay, so this operation will get the inventory for the input stock keeping unit, enter loading test. This is nothing but like when our agent is invoking the MuleSoft API, if there is any, let's say a few seconds it is loading, we can just give some text at that time to display. Okay, fetching quantity for the SKU. SKU, collect data from user. Yeah, once they see, if you see here, the reason why I mentioned earlier, we need to provide the data type structure and all. There is an Apex class that got automatically created, right? Output for the output rendering, which means if that schema will for the raml schema and the parameters which we have defined, there will be Apex class created, and the response whatever we are getting from the Mule API, that will be parsed against this Apex class so that agent can understand it better, right? So that is what I have mentioned. So this is the this is the place where you can see the Apex class that got created for based on the schema. Okay, the instruction, I'll just mention, please show the quantity of the for this group from the response received. Okay, so filter from agent action. Just filter from agent action is nothing but like this and all will not be visible for us. This one I gave as a show in conversation because whatever the response we will get from the MuleSoft API, that will be available for us to view it in the chat. Okay, I'm finishing this. So this action is created. Now what I'll do, I'll go to the topic conversation, inventory check, handles request to check the real-time inventory for the using exclude. So in the instruction, use a screw provided by the user to query the MuleSoft API for real-time inventory data. I'll just put use this one. Okay. If the user does not provide, ask them to provide it to proceed. Okay. Ensure the response includes the quantity available in the inventory. Returns error. Okay, that's cool. So let me save this. So now if you see here, for this particular inventory check, we have our action created based on the API which we developed in our which we have developed and deployed in our Anypoint platform. I'm just going to the platform to just open the logs so that, so this is the API. Okay, so this is 12 hours ago. Okay, so if you see here, the previous log was just, I know it's been 12 hours ago. Now I'm coming to the topic. I'll just click on activate. Review activation check is conflicting instruction data cloud isn't enabled. Okay, before that,
You
let
can
me
you can ignore and
test it.
activate it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just first test it before activating. I'm just putting a high. Let's see. Yeah. So it is showing. I just put a high. Could you please provide the SKU of the product you would like to check the inventory for? Okay. I'm just providing the SKU simply. Okay. Unable to check the inventory. Okay, 1 second. Let me see. Let me see whether the request is received here or not. What's happening? Okay. Okay. 1 second. Abhishek, we no need to activate it, right?
No, you can directly test it without activating. Try
Yeah,
it one more time. Like give the SQ in small caps or something, small letters, and try that.
that should not be an issue. Okay. Let me try that again. Okay.
Yeah, try it one more time. Check on your maybe external service or name credential. Like in external service,
Yeah, yeah, once.
how it is taking the Apex class.
One second. For that. I'm just validating the instruction once, okay? I just wanted to check the element quality of a product using the SKU as input to MuleSoft, okay? Outside the scope, instructions use the scope. Those are okay.
In the output, what is the last part you have? Can you come down? One is advanced settings, okay, and response code. Okay, this is for response code.
This should not be an issue.
Yeah.
Please show the quantity from the scope, okay? For the response.
Meanwhile, check your logs, like whether the input is not coming right or something.
No, no, request itself is not received here actually.
Okay.
So I think something related to permission. Let me.
Save your application first, like the change what you did in the agents. Save it, yeah.
Should work. Let me. Yeah, I think we need to activate it, Abhishek,
No, yeah,
for the external.
I'm not sure,
I
but
don't
yeah,
know.
without activating it, just test. But okay, fine, it's working now. Then
It's yeah. So if you see here, I just provided this queue. What had happened is, it used that SKU to send the API call to our Anypine platform and got the response back. It is mentioning inventory information for the provided SKU is 1,500 units, right? And if I validate in my logs, I got a API call a few seconds ago. Okay, so yeah, and if you see here, the API call has received from our Agentforce, and we got the response back, and it is pausing, and it's providing the response. Okay, so this is how like you can use the API in our MuleSoft Agentforce action, and you can utilize it. This is just a sample API of Get. Similarly, you can use multiple based on your use cases and all. Yeah, I think that's it. Hope you like the session. Now, shall we proceed to the Q&A, Abhishek?
yep, sure. So I have already shared this reference link. So if
Okay.
anyone have any questions, you can ask now. We can have some networking.